Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and all that jazz. Welcome back to a Reboot Your Thoughts podcast. Do you know, I always remember to say that on the other one, and I feel as if the more episodes you get into, you kind of forget to say certain things because you just presume that everybody's been here from the start. And possibly you have, possibly you haven't. I don't know. If you have, thank you. I love you. If you haven't, welcome. Let's join the journey together and see where this takes us. So, what have we all been up to this week? I feel as if I'm in my hibernation era. We get to October, the nights or the days are getting darker earlier. The cold, bitter weather in Scotland has arrived, although today's not too bad with it. We did have blue skies today. I read somewhere earlier, I seen somewhere earlier we're going to get another hurricane or something, or a storm, I don't know what we're getting, but can we not please? We get enough bad weather in Scotland, we don't need any extra. I mean, that could have been one of the clickbait things, because I tend to read a what do you call it, heading, and think, do you know what, that's probably even not what that story's about, and I'll be 5 minutes deep into the story and I'll get annoyed because it's complete clickbait. So we've got all the winter clothes coming out, although because we're in Scotland, we're in our winter era, I'm also in the menopause era, which means that how I would normally dress in the winter is make me sweat buckets, but then sometimes when I don't put enough layers on or warm enough clothes on, then I'm too cold, so I put something else on, and then I'm too hot, so it's like you're dressed for winter but you're carrying a fan about with you. It's great fun. Absolutely love being female. I said that to my cousin yesterday. That's so amazing being female, isn't it? Going through all these amazing journeys with our bodies. Can you hear the sarcasm? Yeah, me too. So we're also in the 6-month period of everybody being sick. So from about September, October until March, April, we'll have all our winter bugs going about. We've got the flu, the sickness bugs, the stomach bugs, the everything. Everybody's got to be well. And if you're lucky enough to be like me and my youngest, who have the crappiest, possibly not an actual word in the English dictionary, it's a word in my brain, immune systems, so we get everything. Fantastic. But you just need to get on with it. You gotta roll with it. You gotta take your time. You gotta say what you say. Don't let anybody get in your way. All the cold, all the flu, all the anything. Just keep living your best life. With a red nose like Rudolph and watery eyes and vomit coming out your mouth. And so lovely, aren't they? My mum keeps saying I should have been a boy. I don't tend to disagree with that one. So in my next life, I do not want to come back as male, but I do want to come back as a panda. I don't have a preference of whether I'm male or female when it comes to being a panda. I don't think, I've not investigated it that much, but they do, there's noises outside. They do look as if they have the most chillaxed, fun-loving lives, and that's what I'm here for. In my next life, if I'm allowed, please. Who would you need to ask? Who do you put that wee word into? Who do you put that request into? If you can hear the birds squawking outside, I've had to open my window because I've got heating on to dry the clothes and I am sweating. The sweat is everywhere. Who do you think you put a request into? And how far in advance would I need to do it? Because I want to make sure it happens. If you ever watched any of these panda videos, like, I go down an absolute rabbit hole with different things, but see my pandas, I mean, I wouldn't like to come head to head with one. I don't think I'd win that battle. Not at the minute. Maybe when I become a panda. But honestly, see if you've never watched an actual panda video of a panda in its zoo and it's chasing its wee person that's feeding it and cleaning up its mess and everything. They hold on to their leg and they're literally getting dragged along by this person's leg, and then they're trying to kick them off, and then they fall at trees and they're just scratching their bits, eating bamboo sticks. Listen, that's for me, that life. Just lie there, chilling like a villain. So yeah, that's my preference in the next life, after this life, or any life after this life. I wonder how many lives you get. How many lives have I already had? These are the kind of things. Now, I wasn't even going to talk about this today, but this is where my head goes. I hope you're enjoying this conversation as much as my brain. So, what was I actually going to talk about this week? Well, but yeah, I'm only going to touch on it because I'm going to talk about it later. I don't think it'll be next week because it might be. I want to get facts and figures and different things, so I just want to touch on it this week because obviously we're coming up to Christmas, and Christmas is all about family and kindness and looking out for others, and which we should actually do all year round. But if you've listened to my podcast in the past, we know that this doesn't always happen. Kindness comes through me, but I'm not as close to some family members as what I maybe used to be or whatever. So family, I personally believe that family doesn't always have to be blood. Family can be the family you created, whether it be you've birthed it, you've married into it, friends, people you started just deciding that they're family and they don't even know your name. But that would technically be stalking, and you may be arrested. So try not to do that. Not today anyway. Get Christmas over and done with. That's a joke. I'm not inciting anybody to start stalking anybody, so please don't. I don't want to be involved. I do not want to be arrested. I have plans for next year. So please do not involve me in your stalking life. Thank you. Yeah, so family and looking after family. And when somebody says they're looking after family, or if you're going to be looking after family, whatever, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And sometimes it might just be like babysitting. Sometimes it might be thinking about the elderly, but I don't think people think of that as much when you say you're looking after family. I think we tend to always initially go to children, think we're looking after children. But it can come in different forms as well. So, like I just said, babysitting. So it could be a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, mum, dad, grandparent or whatever that's looking after a child for another family member because they have to go out to work, or maybe they're just going away for a weekend or having a wee night off. It could be a bit more than that. It could be they've had to take in the child, whether it be temporary or permanently, due to unforeseen circumstances. And that can range from different things. It could be somebody in hospital, just generally unwell. It could be somebody sadly passed away. It could be to do with addiction. The person who had the child, gave birth, may be relatively young, maybe couldn't cope. So there's all these different things when it comes to children, and that can stem from just looking after them, like I said, temporary. I can't say that word very well. I'm not very good with it. Where you might just be looking after them for a few days to give the person a break. It could be you're fostering them or becoming their guardian. You may be waiting to go through a court process for it to become permanent. And a lot of it, which is great, and people don't realise how much it takes for somebody to do that, because it's a lot. It is a lot, because you've maybe already brought up your own children, or you maybe have still bringing up children. But it's a hard process to go through. It really is, because one, you don't want any child, none of us want any child to go into a care system for any reason, whether it be again temporary or permanently. None of us want that to happen, because it can have a huge effect on the child later in life, as well as in the moment. but it can have long-standing effects on the child. You as well. You are going through the same as what that child's going through for whatever reason the child's came to you, like I said, whether it be due to illness, addiction, the parent being too young, sadly maybe somebody's passed away. You're still going through that as well as having to take on the child and do everything and make sure that child is still feeling love from someone. But again, like I said, it's a long process. And you have to go through all these different checks, although you are related to the child and you were already in their life, because it's now through a governing body, whether it be social services or whoever it may be, depending what country you're in. You still have to go through police checks, rigorous checks. You have to go through the court system. The court system need to make sure that you're, in inverted commas, approved to look after this child. All these different things. So that can take a massive toll on you, and if you're in a relationship, it can have a huge impact on your relationship. So if you are going through that, what I would say is make sure you continue to communicate with each other. Don't just think the other person knows what you're thinking. Also, if you feel as if you are being pulled apart, make sure that you speak to someone together as well as separately. It could be you're speaking to friends and family, whatever else, separately, individually, but I would speak to a professional together to make sure that that bond stays there and they help you and make sure that you are all on the same path. And if you are going through social services, they should be able to help you with that. Obviously, if not, you can speak to your GP or you can go privately. But then you've got the other end of the scale as well, where the elderly at some point may need help. We went through this with my gran a few years ago, in fact round about COVID time, just after COVID. My brother was, because he's got no children, so he was helping her when we were allowed, during COVID he would go for shopping and things like that, and then after it she really deteriorated quite bad, and I had to get outside agencies involved, i.e. social services for the elderly and different things, and it became apparent that she needed more help than what we were able to offer, because my brother still stays with my mum and I've got 2 children at home and live in a 2-bedroom flat, so there was no room for her to come here. Plus I've got 1 child who needs 24-hour care, so that was out of the question. And my dad lives down in England, and so that wasn't going to be possible, and the rest of the family's kind of scattered all over the world, although there isn't many of them, but they're all elderly. So the only option was for her to go into a care home. And it was great for her in a sense that up until then she lived on her own. So she had nobody to talk to. Whereas in a care home she had company, she had people to talk to, although I think she ended up with a best friend who was her best friend one day and an enemy, or her arch nemesis, the next day. And it was kind of like handbags at dawn from what the nurses kept telling us. I never actually witnessed that myself, but yeah. She had a few choice words for me a few times as well down the phone when she had infections and things, which, listen, I'm like, who remembers Batfink when you were wee, the cartoon Batfink? And what was it? My wings are like a shield of steel. That was me. I was Batfink. Whenever my gran wanted to fire those bullets, I was there with my shield of steel. So yeah, that's a memory, isn't it? That's gone back. I mean, that's like the 80s. That was quite good for me to remember that, considering, as I said, I am very menopausal. Don't even remember my name half the time. But yeah, she was just about to be diagnosed with dementia, but we never quite got her there. I'm sorry for laughing. It's just my typical gran. The care home were taking her to get all the checks, the tests and everything for her to be diagnosed with dementia, and she refused to go. Apparently they couldn't force her, and we weren't allowed to take her because at that point you were only allowed so many people round about the person at the one time. And then by the time she was supposed to go back, she'd sadly already passed. So that's one option of arranging care for somebody. But then the elderly, but you might find that they or you would rather they came and stayed with you, and that might be an option for you, and if so, that's great. But just remember that will also take a toll on your life and on you as well. So make sure you've got backup plans, especially for if you become sick or if you've got anything urgent you need to go to. And so you maybe need a backup plan for somebody to come and sit with the person, especially if they've maybe got dementia and they're not trusted in the house herself. My gran almost set the house on fire a couple of times before she went into a care home. I would regularly get phone calls about it, and luckily people were just like the carers that were going in were turning up just in time. And there was one time there was just things that she was doing out the ordinary and that weren't safe for her. And then you've got my mum who's unwell but on the mend now, but she's got my brother living with her, and I take her whenever she needs to go outside anywhere. I take her there. So, but again, it might be that they don't need to come and live with you permanently. It could be temporary while they heal from an operation. It could be while you're looking for a care home for them. It could be anything at all. It might just be that they're coming. You may live far away and they may be coming for you for a couple of weeks for a wee stay or whatever, for like a sort of holiday type thing. But any of these situations are going to be hard for everybody and anybody. Not just you, but also the person that it involves coming to stay with you, because they're getting taken away from their comforts. They're getting taken away from everything they know. And if the house that they're coming to live in with you isn't kind of close by to where they normally live, they maybe lose contact to their friends, and that might be all they've got. So you've got to think of all these different things as well. It's not just what's best for you, what's best for them, what's best for everybody all round. And is everybody going to take their turn? Is it financially feasible? And I get, like, obviously a lot of people say, oh, money doesn't come into it, I want to look after my family. But when you sit down, you think realistically, money does come into it, because all your bills are going to be higher and everything else. And if you have to give up work or reduce your hours at work to look after somebody, that's an income you're losing. So you need to think of all these different things, how you can make it up. And yeah, there may be support from your government to help with these situations. So just be mindful that you may be able to apply for different things, and don't be harsh on yourself if you do need to apply. Don't just say no because you've maybe never applied for benefits or whatever, financial aid in the past. These things are put in place for a reason, and this is a good enough reason. It's not as if you're being lazy and you just don't want to work. You're trying to help, and you're taking a burden off the government as well. So think it as that. Think of it as where they're not paying for one thing, they're paying for something else. And listen, it's about time the government put their hand in their pocket, because they're quick enough to take money off of us. So that's obviously your younger ones, your kids, your children. And remember, that can go right up to 18-year-old. And then your elderly, but what about the people in between? We all know when we make certain decisions, a lot of it's based on finances. So somebody, and it could be, again, a family member, it could be a friend who's more like family. We buy houses, we rent houses, we buy cars, we do different things depending on our financial situation. We buy a house with a partner potentially, and then what if that relationship breaks down? One of you may need to move out or want to move out. So then where does that person go? So they may need to come and stay with a relative until they get back on their feet. It could be that they either the other person needs to buy one person out, or they need to sell the property, or what if you lose your job and you've run out all your savings? Again, whether you're the person taking someone in or the person that's struggling, don't be shy in speaking up. Don't be shy to ask for help. There's help out there for everybody for different reasons, for different needs. And whether it's financial or needing a roof over your head or whatever, do what you do. Listen, ask the question. The worst anybody can say to you is no, but I'm sure there's not many people that are going to say no, they can't put a roof over your head unless they genuinely don't have any space. And make sure you get any financial aid you're entitled to. And again, like most of these situations, a lot of them will be temporary. Not all of them's going to be permanent. And even if they do stay a bit longer than you thought, then if you're starting to feel uncomfortable or you need your space and it's an adult, speak to them. See if you can help them get back on their feet. And I don't mean by giving them money or giving them a house or anything like that. I just mean by helping them look for a job, helping them look for the support they might be entitled to, helping them look for a new home, a college place, university place, anything that they might need to get them back on a good path that's going to take them to a better future or give them a future. Sometimes 2 sets of ears, 2 sets of eyes, whatever, 2 heads are better than one, as they say. So you might spot something that they've missed, and that's not because they're not looking properly, it's just that sometimes you skim through things, or sometimes you've read something over so many times that you just miss it. How many times have you watched a movie and every time you watch it then you spot something new or something you forgot that was in? That's the same as trolling through the internet or reading books or whatever else, going through applications. There's so much, and even with applications sometimes it's just your choice of wording. If you change your wording, sometimes then you'll pop out better to a prospective employer. So sometimes just asking somebody to look over a forum for you, they may spot something that you've missed out about yourself that might make you stand out from others. So taking care of family doesn't mean it has to be a child, and doesn't mean it has to be somebody who's elderly. And when I say elderly, we tend to think probably in their 80s or whatever else, but again, people can take unwell and become frail and seem more elderly than what they are a lot younger. Just don't put anybody in a box, don't pigeonhole anybody. I'm sure you wouldn't like it, and regardless of whether they know you're pigeonholing them or not, it's not nice. It's just, how can we look out for each other? And like I said, with Christmas coming up, we always hear Christmas is about family and Christmas is about this and that and the next thing, the magic of Christmas and everything else. But we should be looking out for everybody all year round, the people we care for. And that's another thing we need to be careful of. We need to be mindful of how we word things, because not everybody has family. And if you know somebody is going to be on their own, whether it be for Sunday dinner or a meal through the week, because they do live on their own and they don't have anybody round about, and it might just be because their family lives so far away, it may be they literally don't have anybody left, maybe invite them over for dinner, whether it be at Christmas or whether it be, like I said, Sunday dinner. It's just nice to let somebody know that you're thinking about them and that you care. You wouldn't, I just think sometimes we watch the way that some people speak to or talk about other adults, and we think you would never ever treat a pet like that, and I know there is some people who would probably. I think I was talking to one of my friends today about the whole social media thing, and not to do with this, so it kind of defeats the purpose of me bringing it up, but not at the same time. You see the way people behave online, and it has an impact on others, but also, and I don't just mean that they're putting a lot of positive stuff on there, but you've also got the opposite end of it, where there's so many people being vile online, but are they acting like that in real life? And if they are, can you imagine what the people at the other end of that are feeling when it's right in their face? Because you can see how it affects people who don't actually know them. At times, not always, but at times, especially if you get somebody at the wrong time where they're having a down moment. So can you imagine what somebody that's living with that person might be going through, or somebody in their family who they may be getting the same treatment? I think just always be on the lookout to make sure everybody that's you care for and love and whatever else is okay. Sometimes we do give advice though, and it kind of falls on deaf ears, and that's alright, because eventually, if the person does really want help, they will hear it. And they do hear it when you're saying it. Take it from me, they do hear it. I went through a lot, and a lot of people would say things to me, and I'd be like, no, it's not like that. No, it's not this. No, whatever. But it's more, you don't want to, sometimes you don't want to admit it to yourself. Sometimes you think the person's going to change, and there's 1,000,001 reasons why you might not listen. But listen, we all have one moment where we realise what's going on, and we just need to hope that the people realise before it's too late. And you don't want to keep bringing it up to them, because eventually they will switch off, and you don't want to go too harsh either and lose them, and then that means you're not able to make sure they're safe. So taking care of loved ones, it can sometimes mean bringing them under your own roof, and sometimes it's just checking in with them and making sure they're okay, and making sure they've got food in their cupboards, or making sure they've got their phone topped up, gas, electricity, all these different things. Taking care of a family member doesn't always mean they have to come and live with you either. Like I just said, it could be that you're just ensuring they're going down the right path. You're just ensuring they've got a roof over their head, i.e. making sure that they're keeping up to date with the bills. Because especially if they move out young, they might not realise they have to pay certain bills, or they don't know how to set up all these different things. And I know a lot of the companies are quite good at setting up direct debits as soon as you sign up with them, because they're making sure they're getting their money. But not everything's direct debit. So just make sure they know everything they need to know. Make sure everything they're choosing is the right choice for them. And if somebody is looking to apply for uni, which probably start applications in the next couple of months, ask them if they need some fresh eyes to look over the application. If somebody's looking for a new job, ask them if they want help looking for a job, or if they want help with the application, or even the CV. You can look over their CV for them. If they're looking for a house, see if they want help looking and making sure that they're calculating all their figures to make sure they can properly afford it. So yes, taking care of family can range anything from a wee check-in once or twice a week to actually having them under your own roof and looking out for them that way. But again, like I said, I'm going to speak about this more. It's just, we're coming to that time of year where we're going to hear a lot of people talking about family events and what they're buying family for Christmas and things, and it's maybe about also protecting people. And I don't mean wrapping them up in cotton wool where they don't hear anything at all, because that's not healthy either. But just making sure that people that are round about, especially children who are maybe not with their parents for whatever reason, people are being mindful round about them and choosing their wording appropriately for them. The other thing as well is, if you are taking care of children and you have taken them under your own roof, please ensure that you're not saying anything negative about their parents or parent, whatever it may be, because that's not fair. The child should be allowed to make their own decision, and I'm sure whatever reason the child has ended up with you, they know, especially ones that are maybe over 5, because listen, children, even young children, notice a lot. They hear a lot, they see a lot, and they listen. Just make sure you're not saying anything in earshot, and when I mean by in earshot, when they're under your roof with their eyes opened, because at the end of the day, whether what your feelings are towards that parent in that moment may change later down the line, but they're still that child's parent, and regardless, they still want to hope that the parent will change. They'll still want to love that parent. They'll still want to hope that they get to live with the parent again in a more positive manner. And again, that's all depending on the reason why they came to you. If it is anything severe as parent or parents are no longer here, make sure that you talk to them about the parents as well, so that they don't think that everybody's forgot about them. Make sure they know that nobody's ever going to forget. And I mean, I suppose that's an obvious one, but it can be hard if it's just fresh. It can be hard, especially if it's your child that was the parent. It may be hard for you to talk about them. It's all about supporting each other in that moment. And again, if you need additional support outside, make sure you ask for it. Whether you ask social services, your GP, or you look up somebody private and do it that way, because that may be a bit quicker for you. Make sure you get the help, because you need support as well. Although you're putting the child first and you bring the child or the adult or whoever it is into your house, you also need support. You need somebody to talk to. You need somebody to offload to, where nobody's going to take offence or feel like you don't want the person there. But you also need to be able to have a life as well. So that's why we go back to making sure you've got a backup plan. Make sure you've got a backup plan so that you've got whatever time off, whether it just be for you to go to Asda, whether it's you go out for a meal with your partner or a friend or another family member. Just make sure you've got something in place so that you've got some you time, even if it's just you going round the block for a walk to clear your head. Make sure you've got somebody there. That kind of probably felt a bit heavy for some people, and if you do relate to any of it and you do want some advice or some support, or just want to ask any questions, feel free to message me or contact me. You can contact me through any social media pages for the podcast. So you've got We Book Your Thoughts podcast on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. You can also contact me on rebootsanctuary.com. There's a WhatsApp button on there. Or you can email either of the emails. So you've got rebootyourthoughtspodcast@gmail.com or the rebootsanctuary@gmail.com. And I'll help and support in any way I can. If you want to book in for anything, then we'll get you booked in. It is very dark here now. Oh, right, so here's another thing. So one of my neighbours, she was telling me the other week, totally off topic by the way, we'll move on because it did get a wee bit heavy it might be too heavy for some people, so we'll move on. One of my neighbours was telling me, was it 3 weeks ago, she texted me, now, we all know, if you've listened in the past, I have 3 things that I am, we'll say scared of, don't want to come face to face with either of them. Sheep, mice and rats. That's it. Nothing else that I know of. Sheep, mice and rats are my 3 things that you stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine, and we don't need to communicate with each other. Okay? So she texts me, she's like, I think I've got a rat in my shed. And I was like, why would you tell me that? Like, honestly, why would you tell me that? Because you live like 2 blocks up from me. And I just said, well, can you keep it up your end, please? I don't want it down this end. I says, and you also realise I'm not going to sleep tonight now that you've told me that, because I'm going to be sitting thinking that this thing's coming into my house. So she thought that was hilarious. Then she told me the next day that she doesn't think it was a rat, she thinks it was a squirrel. I said, how can you get a squirrel and a rat mixed up? She says, well, I just seen the tail. I said, but the two of them have got completely different tails. Like, how does that happen? Then she came back to me a day or 2 later and told me it definitely was a rat and took a picture of it and sent it to me. Now, I don't find that very funny. I'm sorry, but what kind of friend is that who would send me that photograph? She's all, look, the rat's playing with the dogs in the garden. Happy for you, your rat and your dogs, but can you leave me out of it? Thank you kindly, sir. So now I'm terrified to go out to my bins at night when it gets dark because I can't see. So I was telling her the day that I'd went out to the bins, and I swear I was about a foot away from my bin, trying to lift it, try to lift the lid, throw the bag in and run back into my house. And I came in and saying to my oldest, I'm absolutely terrified, I can't go out there in the dark. Just in case. I mean, she did say the rat died, but how do you know that's the same rat? Like, really? Am I supposed to just believe you and take your word for it? When you've got a fear, you've got a fear. And it's not a fear that I need to go over, because I don't have any intentions of having either of these in my life anytime soon. Although, I think I told you the other week I was going to marry a farmer. Not found a farmer yet, but I was going to marry a farmer. I don't even want to get married, but I was going to marry a farmer anyway. And everybody kept saying to me, you do realise there's potentially going to be sheep there, mice and rats. So I will deal with that at the time. I could get one of the farmers that they just grow vegetables. I don't need one that's got animals. Although, maybe. The wee baby donkeys, they look cute. And I used to like alpacas. I've never been near one, so I don't actually know if I like them until I realised they spit at you. I don't want anything to spit in my face, thanks. Take that as you will. Yeah, no. I kind of went off the idea of a farmer, but not really. Beggars can't be choosers. I'm not begging for a man, don't worry. We don't beg, we just don't. It's not happening, not in this life. In my panda life, I'll just be lying there like a fat panda enjoying my bamboo stick. Take that as you will. So yes, has anybody started their Christmas shopping? I kind of have. I bought something. So if anybody is following my personal TikTok page, you'll have seen what I bought. That turned out not to be what I bought, but it was what I bought, but it wasn't what I bought. Yeah, I'm confused as well. And I think I confused people even more by my review and then my video that I made of it. I need to whisper because my son's in, it's one of his Christmas presents, but it's alright because I don't think he listens to the podcast. But if he does listen to the podcast, it doesn't matter because it's not a main present. So if you want to actually see the video, you can go into my personal TikTok page. That's only, out of all my personal profiles, that's the only one you'll go onto. Everything else is closed. It's Aileen _ this and that. This and that. Just that not an and. This and that. So my son's a mechanic, as I've said. I think I've said. Don't know. Probably. Maybe. Sort of. Kinda. And he tends to buy the same brand of tools. Snap-on. Joyce Snap-on. Likes the tools. They're very expensive, but he prefers them. Blah, blah, blah. He's got their toolboxes. Wait a minute. I thought he was coming in there, but it was the other one. So he buys all the same tools. The same brand of tools. He's had multiple of their toolboxes. Big, massive things that I probably couldn't even reach the top yet. So last year I seen this sign thing that I got him for it. Not for on his tools, but for on his workspace at home. For him to hang up above his toolbox. Then I seen this year a clock. It's just a metal clock. Snap-on clock. It's got the tools on it, blah blah blah, snap-on colours, everything else, and it says it works off AA batteries. I thought, well, that's really quite good. Aye, that's a nice wee extra. Until it came. Anybody seen where we're going with this? No, I've never had a bother with any of my... This was off of TikTok, by the way. But I've never had a problem with any of my TikTok orders previously. This is my first time. Been buying off of TikTok for 2 or 3 years. And I also have my own showcase on TikTok where I put links up and earn commission and whatever else. So, yeah, it came and it doesn't tick and it doesn't talk. It doesn't take AA batteries. It doesn't even have anything that moves, as in arms, hands, whatever you want to call them. They don't move. They are just a picture on a bit of metal. I mean, it will still be nice to just put in the wall and you'll always think it's 10 to 2, 10 past 10. I think it's 10 past 10 it says on it. It's either 10 past 10 or 10 to 2. I can't remember. And I says, well, at least I've kind of got it right for if you're learning how to drive, where to put your hands. So the clock doesn't clock, it doesn't tick and it doesn't talk, but that'll be why it's now half price for when I bought it. So, yeah, I was a bit disappointed, but anyway, that's what it is, isn't it? Listen, if it's going to happen to anybody, it's going to happen to me. I am that person. I am your mother. You listen to me. Who remembers that song? So yeah, I've been buying, we like a wee board game as well, so I've been stocking up on the games to do over the winter and Christmas period. And I think, yeah, I'm just in my hibernation era now. I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. I'll go buy food and I'll take my son to college and I'll go to work and things like that, right? But see, once it gets to after dark, I'll be nowhere to be seen. I'll be not me. No, you will not see me. You'll not unless I win the lottery. You'll hear me. You might still not see me, but you'll hear me. I'll be screaming. I did say to my son last night, Connie, you do a wee prayer before you go. Know that he's religious, don't get me wrong. He isn't religious. But I've asked him to be positive and he's refusing to do that. So I've asked him to do a prayer for me before he went to bed last night. And he says, do you realise that's not how it works? I says, well, you keep telling me that, but how do you know unless you try? He says, well, if you're asking for money, then God will teach you a lesson and he'll give you none. I said, I've had none all my life, so what difference does it make? So you might as well just try. See if we can get the opposite. And if it gives me none, I'm not in a worse position, am I? I'm still in the same position. But I don't think he did, because I never won. Either that or God does teach me a lesson. I've not even done anything wrong either. It's terrible behaviour. Terrible. I'm not even greedy. I would have been happy with a tenner last night. Get me by to payday. I'm joking. It wouldn't have got me by to payday. It would only got me by for about an hour. But that's a different story. Oh, listen, you've got to laugh. Everybody that knows me, everybody that knows me closely, including my youngest son's granda, he used to always say it to me as well. My dad always says it to me. I always say it. My pals all say it to me. And it's always, if it's going to happen to anybody else, it's going to happen to you. And I don't mean win the lottery. I mean anything bad. Oh, if you never had any bad luck, you'd have no luck. I know that one too. I say that all the time. So how do we reverse that? I mean, I'm quite a positive person. But we need to change this, what people think of me. About how everything bad happens to me, because only sometimes we need to change people's attitudes for 2026, because 2026 needs to be a bit of a positive year. But I mean, we say this every year, don't we? How many years in a row have you said, oh, this has got to be my year? My dad says it to me at 1 minute past midnight every 1st of January. I was going to say July. Every 1st of January, every New Year's, as soon as the bells go, my dad texts me, this has got to be your year. Thanks, Dad. Can you mean it? Can you say it like you mean it? But let's all hope for some positive. We'll all put out the positive vibes for each other, and one of us might catch them. Don't catch feelings, catch the vibes. That's what I say. Don't be catching feelings. Do you know what I've done? And this is another sign that it's going into winter. My lips, I start peeling the skin off my lips, and I've done it the day, and I keep touching it. And I'm one of these weird people though that, see if you've got like an ulcer in your mouth or you've got like a cut on your lip or that, I'd sit and eat like the most vinegary salt and vinegar crisps just so that it touches it and you've got that stingy feeling. Love it. I'm not a sadistic person. I just like that feeling. I don't like pain. Don't get me wrong, I don't like pain. Just that pain. So don't think you can come and hurt me because I like it. You can't use that in your defence in court. She said she liked pain, so I thought I'd go and hurt her. That doesn't wash with me. No the day. Maybe when I'm a panda and I won't care about, I just won't care, because life will just be passing me by. Floating on my bamboo stick. I'm saying nothing. If you've got anything that you would like me to discuss in future episodes, because we're back to writing a list, because we're getting, not that we're getting near the end of the list, but we are quite a bit through our current list. So if you've got anything that you would like me to, a topic you would like me to talk about, especially if I need to kind of investigate it a wee bit, look out some facts and figures, write into me and I'll do my best. If you would like to come on the podcast and tell a story, or just come on as a guest and talk about mental health, or talk about anything to do with life, doesn't need to be mental health, it could be maybe you're looking after a family member. If you want to come on and discuss that, then you're more than welcome. We can do it either in person or over Zoom. If you would like to sponsor or advertise on the podcast, again, just write in. You can email us at rebootyourthoughtspodcast@gmail.com, and there's packages for everybody regardless of the size, and you'll be advertised on the podcast and also all social medias, including my own personal social media as well. And obviously we've got a few different pages, so we can get you on. I can advertise you on this page, the Reboot Sanctuary, and also Reboot Your Business as well. And I think that's kind of all I'm going to talk about today. Another quite a short one, probably about 45-50 minutes. I normally try and go for at least an hour, but we don't always get that, and that's okay. Just a wee heads up as well, over Christmas and New Year we'll do an episode every day again. So I'll get the exact dates for you. It'll probably start around about the 22nd of December. I think that's the Monday. Give me a second. And then that'll go, maybe won't be able to do it on the 21st. So it'll probably be from the 22nd. Let's see, we're October, November, Monday, yeah. So the 22nd of November, and then we'll do that right through until the last one will be Sunday the 4th of January. We'll do an episode every day again. What did I put them out? 7am the last time, didn't I? So I'll try and do them for 7am again, but I'll give you more information nearer the time. And again, that's just to help people that might be feeling lonely round about then. They might not have anybody, or they just might feel a bit isolated. They maybe don't have money to go for the nights out or whatever else. And those ones, we try and make them not quite as serious. We try and make some of them a bit fun. And if you would like to get involved in them, let me know. Again, just write in and we'll do that. But for now, I am going to go edit this, get it uploaded for you, and hopefully you enjoy. And we'll carry this conversation on at some point in the near future. If not next week, probably in the next few weeks. We'll carry it on. But for now, take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I'll speak to you all soon. Bye bye.